Wild times to be alive. We have Bitcoin sitting at $98,000. It actually hit just about $99,000. We are touching right up against this magical six-figure number. And I do think there's a good chance we actually hit it today, if not tomorrow, before this week is over. And this could just be the start of rotation into risk on assets. Definitely not getting too worried about the markets right now. Russia did just launch an ICBM to Ukraine, so that's you got that. So there's always black swan events and stuff that could be happening, but we've seen Bitcoin continue to climb the wall of worries. So I don't really think that will have any impact on the markets, especially because it already happened and Bitcoin doesn't care. And I think that's because most people just doubt that will escalate. I also doubt it will escalate. I'm not too worried about it. Getting sidetracked here though. Let's actually talk about the charts as we are touching $100,000. And why do I say we might be approaching the last runs for Bitcoin? It's because we're starting to see that rotation out of Bitcoin into altcoins. ETH Bitcoin finally had a very nice green day. I mean, you can see within an hourly candle, this thing pumped almost 10%. I do think at this point that ETH Bitcoin is likely bottomed, right? We had a nice structural deviation to the downside backtest, looking very, very good on the higher term time frames. This was a big volume support that we got near. All right, this point of control, if I turn on the visible range right there, you can see big volume support from our bear market range. So assuming this pair is actually finally bottomed, we could use some guesstimates based off of last cycle of how long we have until the top actually comes in. And it's quite some time actually. So September of 2019, this thing starts to roll back up, and it's not till around May of 2021 that this thing actually starts to top out, and this is where we start to enter the bear market. Yes, you have a secondary high on Bitcoin, but will that happen again? Who really knows? I would expect it's more or less going to be a bit of a blow off top. And if it is a blow off top and we don't have a distribution for Bitcoin, this could last much shorter. So I would be cautioning. Maybe it doesn't last this long. Maybe the top is in March, April, May of this year. It could be very soon. It doesn't have to fractal or rhyme something close to what happened last cycle, but this is something we can go based off of. So basically we'll be watching for whenever ETH does accelerate, right? Not only ETH, but total 3 and Bitcoin dominance accelerates to the downside. We're seeing Bitcoin dominance start to top out within this golden pocket. So I do think, we're not going to make a higher high on the dominance chart. We got very big resistance within this range, right? We've spent a lot of time here on the dominance, and it makes logically a lot of sense for us to actually reject this area on a macro time frame. And once we see the steep drop off here, just like we saw back last cycle, this was your signal that the top was actually in. So just based on that and the fact we're about to breach that psychological number that should bring the news headlines, all the retail back into the market, I do think, once we do $100,000, you're going to see Bitcoin dominance start to drop pretty quick, and that could be a warning sign for us. But that absolutely does not mean to worry right now. All that means is that we're going to have some very exciting times, and I just want to get it out there so we're staying vigilant in the markets when we do see all of our coins running 10x, to not go ahead and get super euphoric and to just buy more. It's time to take stuff off the table when we see Bitcoin dominance drop, when we see those warning signs and all this euphoria around us. But I'll say it again, as of now, I still think we got the majority of the rally for at least our risk on assets ahead of us in the market, and a potential blow off top for Bitcoin that doesn't land us maybe past $200,000, right? We're seeing a lot of momentum here. If this doesn't slow down, we could see some pretty crazy prices. Market caps similar to gold would not be unrealistic given the fundamentals. So that would still be well over a 3x from current price. But yeah, we see the Russell is having a very nice day as well. So like I said, this backtest value area high was probably going to be the start of your rotation into risk on assets, and that's kind of what we're seeing on the chart. So nice to see that is all confluencing together. The S&P is coming back up, looking very nice there. It looks like we're not going to fill the futures gap, which is not too surprising at all. We look at total 3, we just made a new yearly high on this thing, steadily approaching these retracement levels. And with this continuation up here on total 3, what we actually got was something I wasn't noticing. I should have been pulling the fibs on this a little bit earlier. We are already through the golden pocket. Not only are we through this thing, but we back tested it as support. Perfect back test of the 618. We had talked about this previously when we were game planning what we were going to do at these prices. We said if it just shoots straight up to this volume and doesn't backtest the 618, then we got to be cautious here. Look for a rejection. The fact that we already backtested the 618 gives us reason to believe that we can actually break that and have continuation into price discovery. And at this point, I would say it's more likely that we actually do go into price discovery above $1.2 trillion on total 3, just because of that backtest. I've seen these golden pockets play out hundreds of times, thousands of times on the chart on all different time frames. Normally, when you see this backtest, it signals next target is going to be above the 1.0, right up there at all-time highs. So yeah, I think we're going to see the altcoins just about teleport here and start a pretty incredible run. Where could it land off if we are going to go into price discovery? That's entirely speculative, but we'll be keeping our eye on Bitcoin dominance because this has a historic range within here. So once we start getting down under 50%, that's where I'll be getting very, very cautious in the markets. After we break all-time highs here, you're probably going to see the meme coins go. Whenever the meme coins go, that's where we need to start getting very, very cautious. It should just be very obvious out there in the market. Once we have this big run, once stuff starts to settle out and people are still thinking there's going to be another leg up, even when all of us are millionaires, maybe don't get caught up in the euphoria and don't get yourself round tripped out there. But once again, as of now, nothing to worry about. If anything, we are just getting more and more confidences that show this cycle is going to be absolutely massive as Bitcoin leads the way to $100,000, while all of our other assets build very, very strong charts that should send us up to a full-on altcoin season that might even be historical, as we have USDT dominance clearly breaking down here. This is something we've also never seen. So yeah, essentially I think it's about to start getting very, very exciting out there in the market. I think today marks the start of your biggest altcoin season on the market, right? We've had small bursts of a lot of altcoins doing very, very well and performing very, very well, but I think we should start seeing stuff go across the board as Bitcoin approaches $100,000. But if you do have any questions about anything I talked about or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is in the description down below. Also got a bunch of exchange links down below, so definitely feel free to use those referral links down below. I trust all of the exchanges, and Belowfin has a nice bonus for you guys, 10% cash back on any deposit up to $10,000. So make sure to take advantage of that. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.